Bonjour and welcome to the week beginning 1st of February. This week we're going to be continuing on the topic of shopping and we're going to learn the names of the different types of shops in French. Okay, to start off then we will need our cahier bleu, our vocab jotter, and all I want you to do is to write the heading Les Magasins, which means the shops, in your vocab jotter and copy down these 15 terms for different kinds of shops. Leave a space beside each one to fill in the English, but for now all I need you to do is to get down the French. You will find out how to fill in the English on the slides that follow. So now I'm going to take you through the vocabulary for the different shops in French. You'll see the shop and you'll also see some of the typical items that you can buy in those kinds of shops. Okay, so as we're doing this, I want you to go back to your list of vocabulary and add in the English meanings as you go. They're not going to necessarily be in the same order as your list, so you need to pay attention and fill in things as we go through. Okay, so the first one is la boulangerie. This is really important in France. This is where you buy your du pain, le pain, the bread, your baguettes and things. Okay, now there are different words for different kinds of bakers in France. So boulangerie is the one that predominantly is for selling bread. So this slide shows you some of the typical items that you might buy in a boulangerie, and the most important ones for you to know are les croissants et les baguettes. Now the other type of bakery that you get in France is la pâtisserie, which is the one that you buy cakes in. So France is obviously very famous for its pâtisserie, and you can see a beautiful selection here of different kinds of cakes that you might be able to buy. Okay, so some more vocabulary relating to cake. So the word for cake in general is un gâteau, and then you might have une tarte aux fraises, which is a strawberry tart, okay? But you could change that to different kind of fruits. You could have une tarte aux pommes, une tarte aux poires, for example. So here we have la boucherie, which is where you go to buy la viande, the meat. So la boucherie is a butcher's and la viande is meat. So here you have some other kinds of words for meat. Le poulet, le porc, le bœuf. So le poulet, chicken, le porc, pork, and le bœuf, beef. So here you have la charcuterie, which is the French word for a delicatessen. So in la charcuterie, you can buy les viandes froides, cold meat. Okay, so all kinds of ham, salami, patties, sliced sausage, that kind of thing. So also in the la charcuterie, you could find le saucisson, sausage, and le jambon, ham. Okay, another two items here that you can also get in the la charcuterie, le pâté or pâté de campagne, which is just a different type of pâté. Okay, countryside homemade version. Next we have la poissonnerie, which is the fishmongers, okay, for buying all your different kinds of fish. Okay, here you have la crèmerie. Now this is a shop that we don't really have in Great Britain, but it's a shop that sells all your dairy produce, okay, so things like milk, eggs, butter, cheese, things like that. So here are some of the products that you might be able to buy in la crèmerie. Du lait, des œufs, le yaourt, le beurre. So milk, eggs, yogurt, butter. And of course, really important in France, le fromage. Loads of different types to choose from. So much so that you also do get your dedicated fromagerie, which are cheese shops, okay? We do have one or two of these in Great Britain now as well. So here we have an épicerie, which is really like a little greengrocer's, traditionally selling fresh fruit and vegetables, but this can also stock some of the everyday goods you might see in like a little corner shop or a mini co-op or spar shops, that kind of thing as well. Okay, So here you see les produits de l'épicerie. So products you might find in greengrocer. So you can see here it's some of the things, all the everyday items. So things like juice, tins of food, rice, pasta, that kind of thing. So just your basics. Okay. Now you've got la chocolaterie, which is a dedicated chocolate shop. Okay, it's selling handmade chocolates, really special, delicious chocolates. So here you have un supermarché, a supermarket, and Carrefour is one of the big brands, okay, so like Tesco or Asda. And just like you do get in Scotland, they sometimes have a mini Carrefour in the centre of a town, and then they'll have the big, what they call it, hypermarché, so the equivalent of like a Tesco Extra or whatever, the really big ones that sell absolutely everything. So a product that you might be able to buy in le supermarché is la farine, which is flour. Okay, le riz en fleur or le riz also are different kinds of rice. Or les pâtes, which is pasta, not to be confused with pâté. The difference in spelling is that pâté has an accent on the E, okay, to let you know how to pronounce it differently. So it's les pâtes for pasta. Some other basics, le poivre for pepper and le sel for salt. So next we move to la confiserie, which is a sweet shop, okay. There is the word in English confectioners or confectionery, so it sounds a little bit like that. And in la confiserie, you can mostly buy des bonbons or sometimes also du chocolat. And a lot of times in France they have le tabac, which is basically a tobacconist. So it sells cigars, cigarettes. It will also sometimes sell things like the lottery tickets and maybe some stamps. Sometimes it won't just be a shop, sometimes it'll be a little kind of kiosk or a little kind of hut on the edge of a street where you can buy these things. La Poste is the post office, and you'll notice that the colours, instead of red as we have in the UK, are yellow and blue, and then you could buy des timbres, or stamps. And another thing that's really important in France is la parfumerie. Very many types of perfumes that we use in this country are made by French designers and French fashion houses. So la parfumerie is where you go to buy your perfume. So by now you should have your vocab list complete with the French and the English, and that will help you to do this activity. You've got 10 items on the left hand side that are products that you can buy in certain shops, and then you've got shops A to G. And all I want you to do is to say which shops you're likely to buy these items in. Now there are many more items than there are shops, so you may have to use some of the shops twice. Okay, I would make sure that you know what the items are, and if you're unsure of any, you could look them up on an online dictionary like wordreference.com. Okay, but I think by now you probably know quite a lot of them. So just for a little bit more practice of your vocabulary, you've got lots of pictures here of different kinds of shops, and underneath you have got the French words. I'll upload this as a separate worksheet as well because it's quite small on the slide, and so you can use either to put your answers on. Task 4 is a listening task, so if you click on the little speaker icon, you will hear a recording, and in each of the 10 little sentences a different kind of shop is mentioned. They're all things that we've seen already today, and all I want you to do is to write down in English beside the number what shop is mentioned. You can listen to it up to 3 times to try and get your answers. For task 5, you've got some little pictures of a street with some shops on, and then you've got some statements talking about either the colour or the position of where these shops are, and I simply want you to say whether the statements are true, vrai, or false, faux. Okay, so it's simply a case of writing down true or false for each one. So for task 6, I just want you to build on some of the words that we've seen already today and add in a few extra. So you've got 21 pictures of different kinds of shops here, and then in the grid at the top you've got the names of these shops. So it's just a case of inserting the numbers of the pictures into the right place in the grid. I have uploaded this as a separate worksheet as well, so you can see it a little bit more clearly. The pictures and the writing will be a bit bigger. Okay, right, and that's you for today. All I would like you to do maybe is spend some time looking at Quizlet and practicing with these flashcards to get the vocabulary ingrained in your brain. Okay, au revoir for now.